Go ahead, put it on real tight. Hope you brought your best tonight. They say they got the fireworks, yeah, they say they got the show. Here around the chutes, you're the best, so let's go.
This is Texas Toast. I'm your host, Miss Helen. Kick back and enjoy as we toast the best from Texas.
Hello, everyone. It's Texas on Tap, back with Miss Helen and producer Kyle. Hey.
Go Stros!
I got my special jacket on. We finally had some cool weather, and it's playoff time, and it's just a great time to love the Astros and love baseball.
Yeah, it feels wonderful outside. I was worried it was going to be hotter than on the boat I spent all of last week on, and it's just the nicest thing I could have come home to. It definitely got cold, and the wind is blowing. I went out and some of my lights were all messed up, but anyway, so it's good to be back. Good to see you, and we've got a lot of stuff going on, and music. Well, let's not pretend like we haven't been playing catch up all day. We've spent an hour together already today.
Yes, we've had a very fun day.
We have.
It's been good. It's been really good. Some great visits and great podcasts coming up. And anyway.
Yeah, let's tell them who we talked to.
Oh my gosh! Finally, Mark McKinney.
Got to talk to Mark McKinney. That was awesome. Like I told you, I think we talked about it on one of the previous Texas on Taps, but I kind of prepped him for what was to come. But
I don't think you prepped him. I think I still scared him. I think I still scared him a little bit, but then he rolled with it. But no, it's like a great discussion. He has put out such good music, and he's always been so consistent. He works so hard, and I just love, he just looked so fulfilled, so happy, so content, got things going on with his family, another business venture. So anyway, yeah, you have to listen to the Mark McKinney thing, because I dug into all those songs that I'm sure a lot of people listen to. You can't just listen to his radio releases. It's about the whole package with Mark McKinney. So I was surprised by the business stuff that him and his wife Cassie are doing. I didn't know anything about that. So if you're curious about what I'm talking about, you're gonna have to tune in. Yeah, it was the best ever. I mean, it was just so much fun. And seriously, I'm not just saying this, but it really was a pleasure to visit with him, and someone that I admire so much, his talent, songwriting, and just a person he is.
100%. All right, cool. Let's jump into songs. I'm really excited. I got my 3 favorite guys this week. So
I know you got some good. Let's go.
Okay, you want me to start?
Yeah, go. All
right, I'm gonna start off. Let's see here. I'm gonna start with the dynamic duo. Actually, we got a nice little dynamic duo going on in Texas these days, and I'm gonna pick it up with our buddy Clayton Mullen. He just dropped a new song. I'm actually a week late. I was gonna talk about it last week, but obviously we didn't have Texas on Tap because we were just traveling the world. But Clayton just put out a new song last Friday to streaming called "Like That." It's a nice upbeat tune from Clayton. He's kind of got like the sappy sad boy vibes with his songs, and I obviously like that type of stuff. And this one's, it's still like a love song, but it's got a little thump to it.
That's what I liked about it.
Yeah, it kind of. Do you remember when we talked to him about that song Letterman and how he used it in a bunch of different ways? So
yes.
It kind of reminded me of that, like the way he would keep coming back to just like that. It's all these different phrases and these different things happening along the story, but it's I don't know. It's just really good. I didn't get a chance to talk to him about who he wrote that one with, but
he co-wrote it with Palmer Anthony.
That makes sense.
And that'll segue us to anyway.
And that will segue us very nicely to my next song. Palmer Anthony put out a new song today. It's called "Forever Gone." Like I said, these guys are just like 2 peas in a pod. I mean, Palmer is kind of, or I guess Clayton has kind of become Palmer's protege in a sense. He kind of brought him into the songwriting and all that stuff. And these guys are just killing it. Everything they touch is awesome. And
yes.
I don't know, this one for me stood out for Palmer because it's super vulnerable, like vocally and like the recording. And it's all kind of out on the table in a similar way to what Clayton's been doing previous to this song. So I don't know. I just love it. They can't do any wrong by me these days. So you got to check out "Forever Gone" by Palmer.
It's a good one.
Yeah. All right. I love this guy way too much. My favorite, everybody that listens to this knows, Colton Venner. I just wish he was in front of every person, and I don't know, or maybe I want him for myself. He's just my favorite. I love this guy so much.
This is a great song.
Yeah, so he put out a new song called Legends, and let's open up the tap room doors and check out Colton Venner's brand new song, Legends. I would gladly put Colton Venner on a pedestal any chance I get. He deserves the entire world. I don't know what it is. Ever since we talked about Sundance Square, right when we were getting this thing started, he just struck a chord with me, and he everything he touches is solid gold. It's perfect.
Yeah, well, and this particular song, it's like, it's so spot on. He speaks the truth. It's so deep. And when those mouths get to running, I mean, I love the whole twist on it. That's how legends form in that damn small town.
Yeah,
it's just great.
It's like, I don't know any, I mean, I guess I have a little small town experience, but I didn't really grow up in a small town, but I feel like I just know everything about how it goes just from his songs. And he takes these like simple ideas or like thoughts that every person has and turns them into these like just beautiful poetic stories. And I'm in love with his songwriting. I'm forever jealous and will never stop listening. So you gotta give Colton the time of day if you're not already. I promise it's worth your time.
Mm-hmm.
Your turn.
My turn. I'm going to talk a lot about this first song I'm going to talk about. Okay, girls, and especially you moms that are trying to juggle everything, you've got to check out Adrian Johnston's new single. It's called Trying. It's been out for a few weeks. It's charting. It's doing good. And she actually has had a few years off. She had a baby. Of course, COVID hit and everybody was shut down, but she became a mom during that time. And she's had a lot of charting singles. Like a couple of my favorites of hers are Adult Beverages and Avalanches were two big hits for her. But I mean, you ladies, just check this song out. I'll just go through some of the lyrics. Trying to be the best version of who I am, but not look like I'm trying. And it's the whole thing, juggling things. It's like, get a minivan, 2 cute kids, some lipo, raise hell, go to church, get a tan, get a plan, get a man.
Like even
it's just so
upbeat,
though. And it's just so upbeat, so and it's just so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
And she's
the story
so
of
cute.
Everyone's life, not just moms. You know, that's anybody can relate to that song. I mean, obviously it's specific to her, but like that song is, you know, everybody's
it's just like, I mean, it made me think it made me think of my daughter-in-law, my adopted niece. I mean, it's like, it's just such a great song. And she's such a beautiful girl. And another thing is she has a boutique called Sheality.
Oh,
and
nice.
she has a storefront, and I'm like constantly online, like looking at stuff like in her boutique. I'm waiting for like some of the right stuff for me. But yeah, Adrian Johnston, she's rocks it on that song, and it's awesome. Now, this one, you know, everybody knows how I feel about Case Hardin. Case is so talented, and this song, his new single is called Most Beautiful Place I've Ever Been. And he's not talking about a place, he's talking about her. Y'all, this debuted straight out the chute, top 100 on Texas Country Music Chart at 69. It also was one of the greatest spin gainers and was the most added this week.
Damn.
I think this will become a career song for Case. I think this is going to be like one of those, like, you know, George Strait's Amarillo by Morning. I mean, it's like Case he just kills it. And of course he has, you know, it's from his album that's out, but he has a little old, little new. But anyway, so I get excited talking about Case. So make sure you check out his new single, Most Beautiful Place I've Ever Been. And I think that's going to be a song that's going to stick with him for a long, long time. Now, moving to another one of my favorites. This is brand new from Will Carter. We're going to open the tap room door for Had It All Wrong. Will is really putting it out there with this song, Had It All Wrong. Basically, this song he put out is his experience on trying to navigate the waters in the music industry. And basically the whole backstory is like, I'm just going to tell it, Miss Helen's story. Somebody could tell he was stressed. He was worrying about selling stuff. He wanted to listen to other people. He wasn't getting the traction. You know, and when Will was on the podcast with us, he talked a lot about us getting ready for the new stuff he had coming out. He was so excited about this next step in his career. And so he ran across somebody that gave him some good advice that said, be yourself. And so that now looking at the lyrics and listening to the song that you just heard, it makes sense. And so
Totally.
he said, this all started with Wrong Side of Town. This is his newest release, Had It All Wrong. Can you tell the passion in his vocals? I mean, I've listened to Will's music forever, since the beginning. Something about this song, like in his vocals and delivery, I was like, wow.
Mm-hmm.
And then reading the backstory on it and knowing Will like I know him, so proud of him, and I know he's got great stuff to come. So
yeah, and just to piggyback off that, I'm pretty sure I remember him talking about how he's got his own live band recording all that stuff, and that's the main thing that stood out to me in the recording, along with, you know, I could tell a difference in his vocal. You know, it sounded like he was, I hate to say more confident, but it really did to me sound like he was just more happy with what was happening in the, you know, in the process. And like the drums were super groovy, and that's not something that normally would fly when you've got a producer trying to make you sound a certain way. So to me, that's really cool. Like I don't know, that stood out. And then immediately I remembered him telling me that, and I was like, oh man, they found something in it. That's really cool. You know? So
I just want to keep going back and listening to that song. I'm so proud of him. And it was just really, it was inspirational to read the story behind it, and for him just to put it out there and say it. You know, so many musicians will do that and then some won't, you know, but it's like, but he's just Will. He's such a good guy. All right. Looking at the charts for this week.
Skipping into the charts, I got to talk about our friends at the Music Creations.
Kyle, are you okay?
No, sorry. So I'll edit this out, but I'm gonna have to start that section, I guess, unless you want to start by talking about More Than Music, because we have to plug them right here every episode.
Okay. Well, okay, let's go ahead and talk about More Than Music.
Okay, so before we jump into the charts, I want to talk about our friends More Than Music Creations. We've been talking about them for a couple weeks now, and obviously we really like what they're doing, but we want you to really like what they're doing. And I realized today that there's one thing I haven't really mentioned. I think Michael did when we had him on the podcast, but you know, we talked about how they use guitar strings from all your favorite artists to make these things, but I don't know if we've told you that you can go to these artists' show and buy them in person. Yes. So come see me at the Bree Bagwell merch table, or go see I don't even know. I know way too many people, but go see the merch table at a Pat Green show or a Wilder Blues show, and go talk to them, and you can buy their own collection of More Than Music Creations stuff. And if you're worried about shipping for Christmas presents, then that's the best way to do it, because you can get them right there and you can walk home with them. And they're not expensive for like a handcrafted, you know, that's like buying a novelty, or not a novelty. What's the word I'm looking for? Like, I don't know, like your favorite artist, you're going to spend a lot of money on something, and you get a jewelry for yourself or for a gift for someone, and it's like, you know, $30 for a pair of earrings or something like that.
Yeah, and that's something that's so unique that not a lot of people have, and there's such meaning behind it, and there's a purpose behind the jewelry also.
100%. All right, let's do it. Charts.
Okay. All right. So Texas Country Music Chart coming in at number. By the way, I wanted to say, let me just look at okay, so Kinfo's starting to make their move with Grain of Salt. They've had a lot of progression up the charts. Bree went from 9 to 7, by the way, this week. Top 5, Cody Jinks from 6 to 5 with Hurt You. John Stork is at number 4 with Blood. He was number 3 last week. Pat Green, If It Don't Have a Honky Tonk, went from 4 to 3. Randy Rogers Band went from 1 to 2. Then Wade Bowen went back up to number 1 with Everything Has Your Memory. So they kind of did a swip swap right there. Swip swap. Okay. Texas Regional Radio Report at number 5 this week is Jamie Richards with Loose, Loud, and Crazy. Of course, he wrote the song. Kevin Fowler had prior recorded it. Everybody knows that. All right. Number 4 this week is Pat Green, If It Don't Have a Honky Tonk. Ariel went from 4 to 3 with Stuck. Wade Bowen's at number 2 with Everything Has Your Memory. Randy Rogers Band was at number 2 last week. They're at number 1 this week with Nothing But Love Songs. CD Extraction Texas, number 5 this week is Cody Jinks. He went from 10 to 5 on this chart. Pat Green's at 4. Loving It that Sunny Sweeney's at number 3 with Easy as Hello. Randy Rogers Band is at number 2. They were at 2 last week. Stayed the same, number 1 with Wade Bowen, and Everything Has Your Memory on CD Extraction Texas. So that's a look at the charts. And there's a lot of good stuff on the charts. And, you know, and there's even some I was because I like to kind of look down at the bottom and see who's coming up. And it's kind of super surprising for me that there's some songs I thought, man, I thought that would move up quicker. So anyway, all in all, good music, good charts, good stuff going on. And I had an interesting, let's say you were on the cruise.
Yeah, I'm still recovering.
Uh-huh.
My brain's not functioning fully. Yep, we went on the Texas Country Music Cruise all of last week. And like looking back on it, it seems like it was a day, but it felt like it was a month while we were in the middle of it. And we just had way too much fun the whole time. And now I'm here trying to readjust to reality.
So yeah, well, I had a interesting trip. I was out of town as well. I went to Nashville and to do some stuff with Steve Anthony Music that I work with him a lot. And we had some stuff on the Positive Country chart with CD Extraction, but I got to hang out and had a great meeting with Joe and Allie Kelly, David Gilligan, who's radio promoter for Texas. Everybody knows David, freaking hilarious. David and I hung out, and but all I can say is that I fell in love with Nashville, except for the driving. People that have had to drive, because like we rented a truck and it was like, no, Uber. We're going to Uber. Right. I am not dealing with this traffic, but I have a story to tell. I'm going to tell it real quick. So I got to Nashville and I had checked one bag and took my carry-on. So I got to Nashville and okay, so I see like everybody must shop at Target because I had got a new suitcase at Target when I was in Huntsville visiting my daughter because mine was kind of wore out. It was old. I'm like, and I'm a purple girl, so I get this purple suitcase, right? Thinking nobody else is going to have the Barney purple but me. Anyway, so here we go. I'm waiting for my bag and it's like, oh, there's the purple. Wait, that's not mine though. So all the luggage is gone. So I go to the lady and I'm like, my bag's not here. She said, go to the office. So I go to the office at Southwest Luggage, the little luggage office there. Those ladies were so sweet. Southwest Airlines was so amazing. There was a lady actually from Germany that had taken my purple suitcase. Oh, no. Hers was in the office. They worked diligently to get a hold of her. They did get a hold of her. I was at the Ryman for a show and they called me like that night and said, it's here. And I had like the big meeting like at 11 o'clock at CDX the next morning. Right. So I'm still in my same traveling clothes, which weren't bad. Thank goodness I kind of like didn't just like, dress casual. Anywho, point of this story is this is how sweet, this is how awesome they were. The lady told me, she said, well, our courier, because we were staying 3 miles from the airport. So she said, we don't have anybody right now that can bring you your bag. They've already left, but they'll be in like at 8 in the morning. And I'm like, oh, well, great. I can have it by the time I go to my meeting. She said, well, we can't promise anything before noon. Check this out. At midnight, my phone rings. The old-fashioned phone you pick up. In the room. The front desk called and said, your bag is here. Oh, that's so cool. So wow. I have sent them a message. I mean, like, I was so appreciative. I can't believe that, it's like they didn't treat me like I was just another number. I mean, like they knew exactly who, oh, you're purple suitcase switch girl. It was like the purple suitcase girl. So anyway, yeah. And it was a great trip to Nashville. I had a fun time. It went way too fast. Sat through some really good meetings. We got into a whole bunch of radio stuff and there's some stuff that Joe Kelly has come in that's going to be amazing. Yeah. And so, yeah, I did the Nashville thing. I did the Nashville thing. Speaking of Joe, we will be having him on the show here pretty soon to talk about all the stuff that he does at CDX. And then, I mean, like we mentioned earlier, we've got Mark McKinney coming up this coming week. We've got South Texas Tweak coming on the week after that. Who else we got? I think we got Giovanni from the Hired Guns coming up. Lane Smith, who we've been covering a lot, is coming up here in the next couple of weeks. And then we've got TCMAs. It's like, oh man. Yes. And Lane was in Nashville with David when I was there, but nice. We had tickets for the Ryman that night and I missed Lane. Bummer. Yeah, miss Lane. But yeah, so excited to have him on the podcast. Absolutely. That'll be cool to catch up with him. And then I guess by that time, well, dang, the TCMAs will be before that. So yeah. And we'll have to squeeze that in there somewhere. So it's funny because it was 30 degrees in Nashville. So now I put all my winter stuff up, even though it got cool here. I'm getting all my summer stuff out that I wear all the time because I'm headed to the Virgin Islands this week. And I'm praying that you'll have internet, or maybe I'll just text you updates on the Astros because I'll be chilling watching the Astros all week. There will be internet. I'm not going to the middle of nowhere. I think I spent $300 on internet on the cruise this week, and I had internet. I paid for every day and I had internet maybe 48 hours the whole time. So
Fingers crossed.
You're so silly.
Mhm.
Don't do that to me.
We watched what I guess it was game 2 on the boat. We found it in like one tiny little corner of the boat and nobody was watching. And then game 3, they had a big party for it, but the internet was screwed up. So it was like every time we did something cool, it just would freeze up. And the whole room, 150 people in there screaming like, what the hell?
Yeah.
What's going on? Fix it.
And it was that game that David Gilligan, because we were kind of in and out of the bars on Broadway.
Right.
And some of, we could see the game. And then we went into this one particular bar that was so throwback. It was so cool. They didn't have the big screens in there, but we were having a big time in there. We had the most fun there. And so then I was like, look, and I was looking at my phone. I'm like, I got to finish watching this game. So we went to Bar Lions. So went down there. And of course, David was giving me a hard time because he's a big Rangers fan. He's from Dallas area. Yeah. So he was like the whole cheater thing. But he knows, but he was nice enough. And, I just had the discussion. I had just had the discussion about not drinking wine in public. So I had one glass of wine and then we were gone. Finished the game, one glass of wine in public.
I'm proud of you. I tried drinking wine this week and I just I don't know what the deal is with wine. It's like I can drink pretty much anything, but wine, it's like I get dizzy real fast. Like I guess maybe I just need to lean into it. Something about it. It's like, ooh, Bree and all them drinking wine. We spent a day in Grand Cayman and it was really nice actually. We just kind of like walked around and we got a couple bottles of rosé at a few different bars and just like hung out and it was real cool. I had a good time. Met a lot of cool new people too. We got to hang out with the guys in Mickey and the Motor Cars a lot. And I became friends with Pablo, their guitar player. He's a really cool dude. Spent a lot of time with Rio. I know. I
couldn't believe when you said that picture, and I'm like, that's Rio. I know that's Rio.
Yeah. So we'll get Rio on the show here pretty soon too, because he's got some really cool stuff in the works.
Oh man, he has heritage in Richmond, so he's like local to me.
No,
he's like local to me. Like he knows a whole bunch of. We have friends of friends of friends and family. So I love him.
Yep. We will make that happen. I don't get anything else. I have the weekend off. I'm gonna go hang out in Austin and just take it easy. Maybe dress up for Halloween.
Shut up.
Let's see. I was joking last night about being Dahmer. Okay, hold on. Have you seen the show?
What?
Did you watch the Jeffrey Dahmer show on Netflix?
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you probably want to enjoy it.
I ain't got time for that. I just don't have time for that. No, not me.
I really liked it. If you're into that kind of thing, I would suggest it. I would not suggest it for most though. But I was just joking at work last night trying to figure out what my little weapon of choice to accent my costume would be if I were to be Dahmer. And I have not come to a conclusion yet. But it's between a drill, a hammer, and a steak knife.
Do the steak knife.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Do the steak knife. I mean, I don't know why. It's just like
so. Well, for those of you who've seen the show, my number one choice was a pulled pork sandwich, but you won't get that at all, Helen.
I'm not gonna get it. I can tell you.
You don't want to get it.
You were like way over me.
Oh man! All right, who's your MVP pick for when we sweep them?
That's a good question. Let me think. I really think, I don't know. Bregman, Pena, Altuve could be picking it up. I'd say it's between. I don't know. Then they're all MVPs to me.
Yeah.
But
could it be a pitcher?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
No, but like if it was who?
Not McCullers.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I
love
got
that
some
guy,
issues.
Man. I talk about him a lot.
Like,
it's like if he could just stay healthy over the last couple of years, he would be what Garrett Cole was for us 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm. But that game, everybody was stressing over that game when Garrett Cole was going to pitch, and I'm like, okay, we're gonna number one. I predict because I just feel it in my gut. I said number one, we're going to get to Cole, and number two, I think Altuve's at least going to get on base and get a hit, and so. But, we've got such a strong team. Everybody picks each other up. It's just amazing. Mm-hmm. So it's fun stuff. And so, yeah.
It's real nice. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go.
I was going to say, it seemed like last year there was a few missing pieces, but now with Pena in the rotation, it's just like, it's the same as the last World Series team, except I guess we're not cheating.
Well, yeah. But still, I mean, even though not to get into all that, there was still, that was when we had our road record was better than at home.
Right. Totally. And that's the thing.
So I'm just putting that out there. And we know what Boston's done. We know what the Yankees have done. We know what goes on even in, I'll just shut up.
Oh, we know. You're not wrong. Yeah. I wonder if they're going to put a roof on Yankee Stadium this year.
Was that the most ridiculous thing? Because normally
he's going to be looking for a new job.
Normally the other teams are like wanting the roof to be open because it gets so loud. I had to sit down when I saw that story. I was like,
you get the wind lift too.
Is there anything else we can do to accommodate?
Yeah, right.
Not. Anyway, so
I love it. All right. Well, I'm gonna predict that we sweep them and Bregman's the MVP. Yeah. Would we be the first team in history to win the World Series without a loss?
I don't know. I know that right now we're setting lots of records. There's so many records. I would need to research that before I speak on it.
Yeah, I don't know either, but I think it was like we're one of the first 3 teams ever to win a conference championship or whatever without losing.
Yeah.
So
let's just keep moving ahead, keep moving forward. And I just love Dusty Baker. He's become like my favorite manager ever for the Astros. And I mean, I remember when I was young watching him play baseball, and I mean, he's dynamite. I just love him. Absolutely.
Have you seen that new Nolan Ryan documentary? Oh, somebody this past week was telling me it's great. I'm gonna jump off here.
Now that would be something I would watch.
I need to go check that out.
Not your other stuff. I would watch that.
Okay, cool. Good vibes.
So, all right.
Where are you going again? Virgin Islands?
St. Thomas, U.S. Virgin Islands. And we got a big fishing trip planned. I got to fish. I'm fishing while I'm there. We've already got a captain and a charter. And yeah.
Did I send you the picture of those tarpons, I think, that I saw in Grand Cayman?
Up.
They were huge. They were like 7 feet long.
Yeah, I want to see. That's on my bucket list to catch tarpon. Tarpon's on my bucket list.
They were chilling on the beach.
Oh man.
Yeah.
They're beautiful fish. I've been on the boat one time when one got hooked, and there's a certain strategy you use with tarpon. When they start making that jump, they call it bow. You got to get your rod down, and it was just such a surprise. But it was 6 foot in the air, and literally, I was standing on the boat behind. I was fixing to start, because you got to start working the boat to get fishing, and I had chills from my head down to my toes, like just seeing this creature up 6 foot in the air. It was crazy.
Yeah, they look like dinosaurs. We saw one because they were kind of like darker. At least the locals were telling us they were tarpon, and they were like 4 to 6 feet. And then we saw this one. It looked like a sturgeon almost. Like it was like, might as well have been 12 feet long, like an alligator without arms. Like it was gigantic, just chilling in the 2 feet water right there on the coast of on the beach at Cayman Island. Anyways, I could talk about that for a long time, but I'll send you the picture.
Okay,
it was pretty cool.
All righty.
Okay, bring back some mahi, and I'll see you in 2 weeks. Wow. So we're taking off next week again because you're gone.
Yeah, man. But we still have to do Texas on Tap when I get back.
Do we?
I
thought we were taking off next week for some reason.
Okay.
Are we not? Oh, we don't have to. I'm sure.
I don't even know when I'm coming home. I know when I'm leaving. I don't know when I'm coming. We'll work it out.
Okay. Tune in next week and we might be here. All right. Have fun. Cheers.
All right. See ya. Cheers.
And with a heavy tongue, she knew where I was from. As she left, I dared to say